So we can go to item number 2.
All right. Yeah, I brought some stuff. What we have here is we have over some of these. We have a Tremble device. That's the data. This software is kind of, so right now what we have is one data collector. So this data collector is what we use out in the field for all of our UMV. So this connects to the laptop as we drive through our city routes. Yep, don't have to get out. So anything that's a full route, so if it's a full route, they just drive by down the road and gathers all the information, comes back, dock it. That's the data collector piece we're talking about. So this data collector itself is past its useful life. We have one of them right now. Software upgrade that we've just done. Software. Like, something happens right now it reads probably 80. It's someone from 12. So this is the piece right now that we're looking to kind of get updated and get replaced. Other pieces we have here also, some other pieces we have also. We have a Tremble device here, so this is like the manuals and stuff. So we go out, this does 80% of it. So the other 20% we use this device here with this docking station. Yeah, and then the touch read gun. So kind of a piece. Right? So we have a touch read gun, we have a handheld gun. Yeah. So we have the piece. So what we're trying to do is get everything over to trying to get to this data collector and laptop. So we have right now, if we get all the things installed, we are going to have by about 20, I think 500. It's full EMR. Yeah. So one of the things is the new 360 software. This needs to be replaced. This other piece needs to be replaced. What they've done now with this is a pretty cheap fix, which is not part of this. It's just they're going to a tablet device, which is nice. So go to the cloud. So this goes away. Tablets and stuff. So with these three devices, this device is giving us here to charge anymore. So a lot of this stuff is kind of given. Tablet's going to replace these two.
How old are these?
I'm not sure how old they are. I'm not like 100%. Yeah, I think
what the life is.
I would say close to that.
And in reality, and having this stuff right here is that stuff to something.
How soon can you see the information in the certificate?
So there's a couple pieces right now. Right now, we're going towards AMI. Once we go to AMI, that's a different topic. That's the gateways.
Don't get carried. Don't get carried away.
Yeah, that's a lot farther out, but that's the gateways, and that's a real time. Fast as we can pick them up. See if we're all AMI. The collector. questions on kind of the? Yeah, I mean, they do have like some of the problem right.
Don't bring it back tomorrow.
Second down. So eventually, I mean, down the
Actually, 5
road,
years ago, we got. Like season.
the plan is to do two limits. And it's- For hosed, right? 'Cause there's 13. Right. And this is not supported, and you can't get fixed. The downside right now is to get this data collector passed through council. Because right now, they've loaned us a station like this.
And this was budgeted?
Well, this was
In
in
the
like
budget, $100,000.
Yeah, for the bunch of the new software last year. We probably should have time on that. Just for dropping the ball on it, but kind of dropped the ball and said, yeah.
Don't never trust software people.
Right.
Never.
Where's my discount?
You want
I
your
know, right? Where's the discount?
You want doors with that?
We didn't tell you, you needed a bigger thing,
Hard
a
drive?
faster one of these, right?
Right, but now, hey, you're just half of it. You know what? He's got
Where's Chuck?
it.
It's on vacation,
Canada.
conference.
Cool. It was, yeah, I mean, it's in,
Yeah,
yep, yep, yep.
Probably quick, but I'm- we don't. The rest of them. Brought this to, we originally brought this back to the CDC back in March to discuss whether or not the city council. Well, four of the projects that this mountains development agreement. They're all vested. Upon further review. As we explained, back in March, more property tax. Uses that develop jobs or is considered. Also, so would be considered. Also did reflect on some of the comments we out of balance. Also, so in addition to moving self-storage as a page 8 of the that in basic speak says if you have a mini build it. So if you're A&M self-storage, it's in there. Properties. Well, as long as they maintain it, they tear it down and then build a hotel and then when it was self-storage. If they're going from self-storage to self-storage. So it really strikes a balance between preventing the growth. These projects are built now. Currently, we have two. So it's almost doubling. Allowing the people who have kind of invested have been that
Do you anticipate the number of self-storage facilities want to move in?
they are cheap to build. They have very low impact fee costs. Both of Tahale, that's what, and the growth in incorporated Pierce County are yeah. That's all that's been built out there.
They got another retail that you're talking about.
Yeah. I'm gonna push them into Tahale.
Right.
So is there any way to grandfather property owners with the ability to build self-storage? Current property owners? I mean, that's not a surprise to you that I would ask that question because we're taking away that revenue source from current property owners.
All the
right?
property owners that have approached us. Yes. That's all the property, as I said, all the property owners.
Right.
All got vested property.
And good for you. I appreciate that, and that's well done.
There's no way for me to know of the hundreds of properties.
I know, but you know that if you do this, there's hundreds of properties that may not be able to make a lot of money. And I don't really want to do that to those property owners. I mean, I just took away a revenue source from them. Why would I want to do that?
But you took a big protecting their revenue. And like I said, the plan.
I don't really care about revenue sources for the city. I think you know that. I
Well,
mean,
I will say too.
pardon me? Yeah.
Citizens don't want them.
And-
Planning commission's recommended. And we're protected all the property owners that. Because right now,
But there's only there's really like 100, right? There's not that many possible pieces of property that can build self-storage.
but everyone that.
Right.
grow this.
Today.
We can't grow the city.
No, but if they're not gonna all stay self-storage, because as the city grows, it'll become economically unviable and it'll become something.
The couple that we.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
talking at least 50.
yeah, but have we looked at trends in other places where that has turned around? I mean, I gotta think that,
When they become self-storage, they typically,
do we know that for sure?
we haven't had any of them torn down. I don't know.
Well, not in our city. I mean, why would that happen in our city? But what about other places, right? Like Burien or Kirkland or,
I know a lot of cities are trying to restrict the way they are. 'Cause
To answer your question directly, no, we haven't looked at it. We could certainly engage with that study, but we have not.
isn't it just easy to count all this pieces of property that are undeveloped and just say, get grandfathered into the self-storage thing?
that would be the not. Because you
No,
wouldn't,
no, it would, because then if the property changes hands, right, the new property owner would see the ordinance and go, oh, well, I'm not gonna be able to build self-storage. My big concern is that there could be property owners out there going, my friend told me about self-storage, and I think I'm gonna go do that, because
I don't
it made me a lot of money,
I don't
right?
think we can invest it.
Yeah, that was my question.
We can't, yeah, okay. No, we can't invest it to them. Invest it to property.
$2 million. And you're like, and then I'm gonna sell it back to.
Wouldn't be the individual
Yeah.
property, the current property. Wouldn't be
Yeah,
the-
but so that guy still made his 2 million
I know,
bucks,
right?
right? See, I want that property owner to make that 2 million bucks. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to look out for the guy who owns the property so he can make his 2 million bucks.
The property. The property. owner- That's an. Why you can't invest it. Because. It's the developer that's making big money. It's like when you're. So they're buying the property. I can tell you what their purchase.
But the sense I'm getting here is that there's probably enough still, questions here that, or it doesn't sound like maybe. this is
And
something
when this
that's-
comes to council, I'll vote again. Trying to be transparent.
Yeah,
right?
that's, yeah.
But I would vote for it if there's some way to protect the current property owner's rights.
And that's where I
That's
feel
all I'm
like.
saying.
how
Or
probably
if we
do a
could
little bit more work
see,
to answer that
or if we
question.
could show that every property owner that was affected said. Right.
So, and I think that's it.
Mhm, mhm.
No one by like body would want self-storage.
Right,
Property owners around here don't want.
right, right.
So it's always, that's always a tricky question to answer. Because in theory, it's great, but.
Right,
Working.
right.
Why would we stop anybody? Whatever they want to build and make money. That means we would let our R1 zone. Because that would be the ultimate.
I get that.
But that's still restriction.
Right,
Based on the value.
It's okay when it's your neighbor.
right. No. But wait, but see, I guess what's missing is, if I were gonna take that R1 and I was gonna make it a high density, right? What would I be concerned about? I'd be concerned about so if I'm a developer and I go in and buy up a bunch of properties, and I make that, and so I sat through this process with the Lake Jane board, right? So I've been through, not this exact rodeo, but the whole idea is, if some guy buys up a bunch of property and then he wants to put it all together and build multifamily on it, if everybody in the, if there's nothing restricting him from doing that when he did it, good for him or her, right? Because that's just good business. But if they do that, and then I come in and go, no, we're zoning that so it can never be built multifamily, we're gonna restrict your thing, then I would be upset, right? Because I'm like, here's a person who is working hard to, make money in the community, not evil and not bad, make money in the community, and then, abiding by all the laws, and then we change the rules on them in the middle. So that's just my concern, is we're changing the rules on people who own property. I'm wondering how many of those people would go, oh, I would build a self-storage if it was permitted, if I had the money, right? They can get the money today, right? If that's what they really want to do. So why haven't they? So they're still lazy after we tell them, right? Okay.
My biggest.
I'm not saying don't zone that way. I'm just saying, how do we, people who people have the right today, we're taking that right away from them. So how do I protect those people? And I'm just saying, how do we do that? Having a public hearing to me is not that, because they're lazy. Right? Well, I mean, how many of these people,
Close that boat launch there.
that are right, actually, so what we need to do is we need to do this which somehow affects the school district, and the school district will activate their network, and we'll have 100 people down there.
So we go to workshop.
Sure, I think so. I think you should go find out what other council members are, because I know I'm pretty probably as far the property rights as anybody.
I would just. Go out and find. Try to answer all those questions. So I would just sort of say, take it as a full council item.
So how much does it cost to send a letter to every affected property? Well, we'd have to go through, we're not changing the zoning in Lake Jane or Sky Island, or it would just be this segment, right? So how many property owners are there? How long does it take us to do a search? Send a letter to them and say, we're doing this. That's all you have to say is, on this date, this is gonna happen. And then if they storm the council chambers, right, then we get our message, and if they don't, then we get our message. I'm just concerned about, the guy who owns the property, right? Because I own property, and I'd be upset if you change rules on me.
Would like it to go. There's some nuances of it.
Sure. Yeah, if you
because
move
my
it to
property is not.
Right. You. Right. Get that? I agree with all that.
And I know it runs right up against the right of a property.
This is really hard for
I
me.
know,
You
I
know
know.
that, because I'm
I
like,
agree,
I
I
want
agree,
responsible growth. I want to see the city grow. I don't have a hard time with the city making money. But I'm just kind of concerned, because this is one of those things. Most
We
people
do
I
it
talk to
all over the
say,
place. I can talk, and I'm probably never. So, yeah, right.
Well, no, here's the thing, I would, one, you don't need me to vote for it. I think moving it to a workshop is reasonable. We have a good, healthy discussion. Two is, I would change my mind if I felt like all the property owners that could be affected, it's a finite set. It's not an infinite set, right? It's not like we're asking to reach out to all 20,000 property owners. We're just asking for people that own property that's currently that's buildable there, and say, hey, we're doing this, right? And I'm not even asking you to say to even grandfather them. I think if I had some assurance that we had reached out to them and they had an opportunity to come to the city council meeting when we vote on it, I think I would be okay with that. Right? I know in 2 occasions that I took the time to go knock on people's door about a zoning change. They showed up, right? And they spoke because they had their own idea about it. That's kind of what motivates me here. Fortunately, I don't have the time to go make that.
I
do
can make
that.
a list.
Don't want self-storage right over here. Now,
Across the street.
or I could even turn Prime Fitness.
Behind Wendy's.
I think some people do. You look at their lockers, it looks like it's. Yeah, that would be awesome, and then I could get behind it. Because I'm just, again, I'm not, I want the city to make good decisions. Part of it is just giving these guys, oh, okay, because at least if you tell them that, you know what they're going to do? They'll come apply for a permit. Because if they have a permit, grandfathered in, right? If they're viable.
Yeah, but they. Clever.
That's my point. I mean, if they're serious about it,
Yeah.
right, then they'll move forward. And if not, maybe they'll come to council and they present a good argument. Other council members will.
Yeah,
If we don't do this, how much money is the city going to lose?
well, I think this is what I wanted to just. Part of that definition. Sections. This is general fund revenue. So this is revenue that if we. This is money that won't be. The utilities, they're separate. This isn't about water rates and sewer rates or anything else. This is about core services. Now denying revenue for. So if that's
Maybe.
Well, it
Definitely,
Potentially.
absolutely.
it will be.
Absolutely, because you know that the economic
Right,
input
right.
compared to any other,
I know that. I get that. I hear that message, but you don't know if somebody's going to build self-storage.
but they do.
I've been trying to say is like Ryan has said over there, you have 2 responsibilities, Kelly. One to the.
Right.
You want law enforcement to come to your house. You put a self-storage facility where the retail space, we're not giving $1 to pay for it. We can't afford to give it. We need. On the other hand, you still have responsibility to the person who owns that property. And they want to build on that. As a council person, money needs to keep coming into our city health people. Income goes up, wages go up, and that's what our country.
You know what? The
That's the
retail
problem I
sales
have.
argument is almost viable with me, except for the fact that we don't know what those property owners are going to do, right?
Well,
You know what they could do? They can open some silly business that makes no money, or they could
Well,
not
as
develop
Jason
it.
pointed out, I mean, and this will get in Dam's chronic,
We spent $4.5 million on an intersection at Costco, and they're building a mini storage.
Right.
So we funded a $4.5 million intersection. That property owner's building.
With no income for us.
Yeah.
Cost him a thing.
That one I
Well, we could have put in a roundabout.
Oh, how we wish, right?
So, can I
There's
make
more
a
listed in that run.
buried, is that next workshop, I believe. Ladder.
Appreciate that. Really do. And I don't mean to give you a heartache about this. Trying to do what Tom said, balance the thing between the owner and the city, right? I'm trying to find a way.
That balance.
Which
What's
workshop?
and what's the hurry? I really like. We wait till July 12th. And I thank you for the.
If it's an emergency, I'll tell you, this isn't an emergency. This is forward thinking.
Right, no, and it's good. It's the kind of thinking we need. I get it, It's just a hard one. Is there a technical term for that in planning for that when you restrict a property use through a zoning change?
No, they call it highest best use. Is what
Is that what they claim, really?
Yeah, that's what they.
So if I went and took a planning class, they'd say, we're gonna do highest best use. Okay.
Balance. You want a property on Lake Thames. All your life, you build your dream. That slaughterhouse. Zoning system. It's zone. So the same rationale. Family neighborhood. Trying to protect property for the development. That's why limiting of the 5,000 options they have, limiting one that has.
And
I get that.
That's the,
There's no jobs for a storage facility. Compared to a retail.
that's the big, I guess, 5,000.
Thank you. But you
That's
could
what
wind
all
up
he
on
wants to
some,
do.
you could get us a TV show or something.
And a drain on the.
Exactly. It's a double.
It-
Twofer. It's a twofer.
Is it a twofer?
It's a
I'll have to
good
ask
time.
Brian
Does
that
it
how,
increase crime? It like provides no revenue to pay for it. So.
I feel like I'm being like targeted and manipulated here. Those are great arguments though, see, this is, the problem is. And let's not spend everybody's money doing it.
Stick with the agenda.
We'll move along to item number.
Fuck Andrew.
Stage is set.
You're not changing the stripes, are you? The white ones will be white, the yellow will be yellow. People's expectations of which side of the road they're on are not gonna change.
Well, it is June, so I appreciate some multicolored.
Does that hurt?
People will still drive through the wet.
Oh,
Ryan knows a question striking number. Areas where you put the sidewalks. I'm talking about the second one. Telling you, the white one across the street next.
That's the second tax. No, he's talking. Second.
This packet here.
And it isn't. You actually got a plan set.
Looks like.
Well, I've asked
We do-
Ryan
because we do-
before, there's areas they skip. I said, why did they do it? Well, it's their decision. Or by where I live. The ones that. If that stops, we push it. I not just. And block it. Cost of light and cost of light. Those take a bigger machine. For me, would. Going by what you're telling me.
I should have prepped it beforehand. Ready. We're actually driving the roads. That you actually see that tar tracks go through. Got that list. If you have problem locations, let us know.
That's,
Like,
This is a waste of time.
cute. Oh, that's so cute.
Thank you.
So it is kind of conditioned.
Yeah, that's us actually going out there and have a history of which. IMS program talking about payments. Yeah, we got that software already.
Get a tablet with it?
At least 12.
That's what the whole thing's going to be used for.
You wanna get some money with that?
fair stuff.
We don't have enough money. What is that?
It's like travel forever.
Bucks. already used, right? So now we want to get. We're actually parking lot, we actually blacking it out.
Thank you. Chip seal the baseball.
Well, that's its future, like, who knows when we'll get. Talking about
Major
the
expense.
existing,
Yeah, I get that.
mention.
Going like,
How many spaces are we gonna get? Like 12?
When's the striping gonna happen? Will happen in the fall. That'd be in August?
Yeah, it's just don't work.
Will that be,
Doesn't change.
right, but are you gonna, was the striping gonna change in there?
You know,
Yeah, so in August it'll be there, so will we be parking?
but you could start parking there.
That's an operational issue.
Right in the code,
It's a
too.
swap, man.
It is. See?
That is, that's a
We
good,
like
I
that.
like that answer.
We like that.
I just was wondering, right? I was like, oh, so is the striping not gonna happen until the fall? Good, you know,
So good with all three?
Yep, we're good with all three, isn't it?
Yep.
We'll move
Three
next
of them.
available council.
Yep.
Okay.
they were beautiful.
Open.
I just have a question, Mark. Thought about.
What cup? You didn't bring any cups.
You ever thought about approaching us honestly about developing this section?
Many, many years ago, I mean, before they really got, I mean, when they were looking.
I often thought about that. We wanted to doing maybe Holly and stuff. And that's the right people.
And that was, you know, why we had put money in this year's buying a budget.
That's to their point of view. Yes, some council.
I mean,
For retail.
honestly, I mean, you know, the fact that they own all those vacant properties and what are they doing? And they're doing a 7-Eleven.
Wendy's.
Oh, Wendy's too.
Don't forget the Wendy's.
Yeah, Wendy's.
Gotta have that.
Yeah, okay.
But no, I mean, years ago, we had talked about re-envisioning the whole developer about it, sell it off to you. And then one other thing, real quickly, I don't know if it was through. We were notified 2 years ago. $3 million for a grant. Our main work up in Cedarview. We heard through her office today that is included in.
All right.
Tomorrow. Doesn't guarantee funding, but it is included.
Part of that, they have. Left about.
Yeah, 10 is my authority, 20 with council approval. Would you do 9,999?
Yeah, you gotta be a little bit trickier when you're doing that. And that's.
Talking about the realignment of Mountain View, the lift station instead of going over. So there hasn't been any further progress on that. I can get with Doug.
Two things. I don't know if there was a status on the field by Allen York.
We've experienced some delay due to the weather. It's been rough. And then the contractor was doing some. Found that in some portions of the site, about 6 to 8 top layer, there was a nice layer of mulch, wood chips underneath there, and of course, all of that then has to be excavated, all its surface. Moving forward, but slowly. Others made things. We're shooting. John has already talked with our CO, got us an extension.
410 onto Auburn. Our 8-lane area. Oh,
That'd be difficult, but we can.
Thank you.
Which intersection's that?
Over here.
Right.
When that lift lane
Yeah.
ends, they're trying to keep going straight and not merge over. And
Right.
there's on the side. Other person's there. And the people on the homeless can't be able to. Okay, so start.
Well, I know a couple of years back, we did put signage closer to Dairy Queen.
That's correct.
That says, little plastic.
Handles, or people call them all kinds of different things.
Right.
Alrighty, so we'll close the meeting.
63 slide PowerPoint of open public meetings.
Oh, man.